Hello, everybody. This is Gerald Salenti, and it's Wednesday, August 13th. And once again, we have with us a man of men, the person I want to see as President of the United States. And here's another reason why, the reason I keep giving. No one that I know of, and if you know of anyone, let me know, that speaks of the Constitution and the Bill of Rights and knows the facts about them other than Judge Andrew Napolitano. And Judge, the articles that you put out each week, they're amazing and sad. And the column this week, that's coming out tomorrow, the right to be left alone. Who the hell are you to leave me alone? I have no right to be left alone. All I am is a plantation worker of Slavelandia. I have to obey my politicians. I'm still in kindergarten. I listen to everything that the teacher, the principal, I obey. Now, how dare you say that we should have the right to be left alone?
That, unfortunately, what you've said in your unique way is the attitude that the government has to the right to be left alone. The right to be left alone was enshrined in the Fourth Amendment. Donald Trump himself was victimized more than any president of the United States, having his right to be left alone violated when he was spied upon before he was president and while he was president, spied upon by the FBI, the CIA, and the Mossad. He knows this. He knows what it's like to be spied on. I'm not talking about going to a judge and getting a search warrant. That's perfectly lawful. I'm talking about the spies just computer hacking into your mobile device or your desktop. And yet, his NSA continues to do it. It's just as bad as it was under George W. Bush, under Barack Obama, under the first Trump administration, under Joe Biden. In fact, it's even more pervasive now because the technology is easier for them to do it. So there's no news in this article other than periodically I find the need to remind the American public that every communication we have that we think is private, nothing is private. Everything you type on your mobile device, on your desktop, everything you say on the telephone is stored. It's not listened to or read in real time. They don't have the resources to do that. But if they want to find out what you and I said to each other on the phone on March 25th, 2019, I'm just making up the date, they can find it in a heartbeat because they have it. And they got it without a search warrant. And the Fourth Amendment, the Fourth Amendment says all searches and seizures must be subject to a search warrant. And the search warrant can only be based on probable cause of crime. It can't be based on the government's insatiable appetite to know what we're doing. I mean, think about it. The government that the framers gave us needed our permission to do anything. Now we need the government's permission to do nearly everything. We are in an inversion. It is exactly the opposite of what Madison believed he was creating when he wrote the Constitution. And the perversion of the Fourth Amendment is a classic example of that.
I want to read a piece of your article over here. What if President George W. Bush, let me just stop with that.
Right.
A little boy of nothing, a little clown, ignorant piece of scum, a daddy's boy, little Georgie Bush. Anyway, told the NSA that since it is part of the Defense Department, and this is the part, and he was the commander-in-chief. Think about it. Little Georgie Bush, a commander-in-chief.
Well,
How low can you go?
Little Georgie Bush told the Defense Department, which includes the NSA, that they do not have to follow the Constitution. And Barack Obama, Donald Trump, Joe Biden, Trump too, did not change that.
Think about it. A little jerk like him, the commander in chief. Oh, we got another one over there right now. What did Trump say, that he runs the world or something? What was the line?
He said, I run the country and the world.
Yeah. Look at the arrogance of these people. Commander in chief. A little daddy's boy, little Georgie Bush, born on third base and thought he had a home run. A little ignorant piece of scum. Hey, do you remember that video that came up when they first attacked, when the Ukraine war began, and the phony guys said that they were somebody so-and-so, and they did an interview with him?
Yeah.
And what a jerky, a moron, right in front of everybody's eyes.
He thought he was talking to Zelensky, and he was talking to two guys with fake Ukrainian accents.
Again, you can't make this shit up.
No.
And that's what it is, a shit show. You go on to right here. God, this is so. What if Congress has written laws that all presidents have sworn to uphold and that require a warrant issued by a judge before the NSA can spy on anyone? But Bush effectively told the NSA to go through the motions of getting a warrant while spying without warrants on everyone in the U.S. all the time. What if President Barack Obama, Joe Biden, Donald Trump have taken the same position, as you said, toward the NSA and ordered or permitted the same warrantless and lawless spying? What if the Constitution requires warrants based on probable cause of criminal behavior before surveillance can be conducted, but Congress has written laws reducing that standard to probable cause of communicating with foreign nationals? Again, Congress, a bunch of little clowns, changing the laws from Congress to the president, one little piece of scum, robbing us of our rights right in front of our eyes, and people have no idea about what you're writing about.
So it's even worse than I articulated there. These laws that Congress enacted, which makes it easier for the spies to do their spying, they have sunset provisions, meaning they end after 5 years. And every 5 years, they have to be reenacted. As you approach the end of the 5th year, the intelligence community visits members of Congress in private, swears them to secrecy, and then we don't know what goes on. But when they come out of those offices, the members of Congress say, oh, I'm in favor of extending it. I'm in favor of extending it. They probably have dirt on these members of Congress, which they showed them and said, this could appear in the Washington Post in 2 days, or I don't know exactly how these conversations go. But it's a reprehensible way to run the government. And it shows you who's in charge. The deep state is in charge. Even now, even with Donald Trump, who ran against the deep state, who attacked the deep state, he's now an enabler of it.
Again, he lied about everything. Hey, you vote for me, I'm going to end that Ukraine war in 24 hours, all right? All right? Hey, now that I'm elected, before I get inaugurated, I'm going to end that war in 24 hours, all right? All right? He lied himself as a peace president, bombs away over Iran, bombs away over Yemen, bombs away in Somalia. What the hell are we doing in Somalia?
Right.
Ask the average American, show me Somalia on the map.
Well, they don't know where it is. We attacked Somalia earlier this week. Does the public even know that?
No. Did Taylor Swift get laid last night? They know that.
I get your point. They're more interested. They're more interested in the lurid and the cultural and the fleeting than they are in the profound violations of human rights and the Constitution and the expansions of power, which will eventually consume what little liberty we have remaining.
I'm out one night sitting in a bar, and I hear these guys like around our age, and they're talking about the Yankees and the Mets or something. I loved that when I was a young guy, a kid.
Yeah.
they know more about that than what's going on. And by the way, this thing about, again, Judge, we only put the facts in the Trends Journal. And again, everybody, if you want to know more facts about other things that are going on, you got to go to Judging Freedom, because the people that the judge has on there, nowhere, anywhere like it. And we're talking about Trump again. How many times that they lied that there was going to be a peace deal in Gaza? Coming close to a peace deal, coming close to, no, this is not going to happen. And again, they don't talk about this at all. Israel violated the peace deal, the ceasefire deal that was agreed upon with Hamas.
Israel violates every peace deal, every single one.
In the middle of March, they violated the peace deal and started starving the Palestinians to death. And by the way, just before I went on the air, I subscribed to Haaretz, the Israeli newspaper. 124 Palestinians killed yesterday. Wow. 124. Could you imagine? Anyway, going back to how they're lying, now they're talking about Trump doing a peace deal with Russia. And we're saying, no way, no how, Russia's going to give up the land that they've occupied.
Well, I don't know what Trump expects to accomplish by meeting with Putin. The White House yesterday and today has begun tamping down expectations. Trump has no cards to play. Putin is very, very close to achieving his military objectives. And in the past 48 hours has made tremendous strides, 30, 40, 50 kilometers westward. He's very, very close to achieving his goals. Trump says they're going to trade some territory. I don't know what he's talking about. And I don't know what Zelensky can possibly agree to.
Yep.
Maybe, normally when heads of state meet, everything's worked out. It's almost choreographed in advance. Everybody knows what the agreement is. The heads of state meet to formalize it, to ratify it, to pat each other on the shoulder. There's no agreement that's been agreed to. We don't even know what they're going to talk about. I was on, Ritter was on my show, and he had some Russian officials with him, and we had a translator. Wow. And if these people are emblematic of the Russian public, they are expecting far more than Ukraine to be discussed. They desperately want a reset of the relations between the United States and Russia. They can live under the sanctions. In fact, they've prospered under them, but they prefer to be able to travel to the West. They prefer that we be able to travel there. They prefer that their credit cards work here and our credit cards work there. They prefer a more normal political, diplomatic, economic, cultural relationship. That's what they're hoping for. Whether that's on Putin's agenda or not, I don't know.
Well, look, again, people have no idea. We wrote about it in the Trends Journal back in 2014 when the war began, how the United States overthrew the democratically elected government of Viktor Yanukovych.
Right.
And people have no idea about that. Victoria Nuland and that little piece of scum may rot in hell, John McCain.
McCain was the Republican nominee in 2008 against Obama.
Him and Victoria Nuland passing out cookies and candy in Maidan Square.
Yes, there's video of them passing out cookies.
Yeah. Could you imagine if the Russians were here doing that with a demonstration going on?
Yeah.
And again, she's caught on the telephone talking to another piece of scum, Jeffrey Pyatt, who is the United States ambassador to Ukraine. Caught on the phone saying, fuck the EU, we're putting in Yatsenyuk, after they overthrew Yanukovych. Right there. People have no idea about this.
Yeah.
So going back, people also have no idea about the military in Ukraine, the Azovs, the Nazis, that killed over 15,000 Russian people in the Donbass region. And that's why the war began. And the Donbass region's right next to Russia.
Right.
And again, Ukraine was part of Russia up until what? Khrushchev.
Correct.
He was
Ukraine has been a
Ukrainian.
part of Ukraine has been a part of Russia for longer than the United States has existed as a country. Goes back to 1730 under Catherine the Great, when Ukraine became a part of Russia.
Yeah.
Zelensky is bombing parts of what he claims is Ukraine to kill civilians who happen to be Russian speaking, and the Russian troops are there in what Zelensky says is Ukraine to protect the Russian speaking people from being attacked by their own government.
Yep. And again, these people said, no, we didn't vote for this guy, Yatsenyuk. We had nothing to do with this. Our president is Yanukovych. That was the whole thing. So anyway, here's our take, Judge. Russia's not going to give back the land they got.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Which is why I don't know what Trump is going to ask for. Putin has reduced his demands to two, and they are basically a distillation of the 125-page Istanbul agreement agreed to by Ukraine and Russia until Joe Biden and Boris Johnson persuaded Zelensky to withdraw his agreement. And they are that Crimea and the four Donbasses that are now nearly totally occupied by the Russian military are permanently part of Russia. And Ukraine must be a neutral country. It can never join NATO. That's it. Pure and simple. Anything short of that, and Putin will go home.
Yep. And again, you know, look what's going on in Israel. Oh, that little scum, you know how much I can't stand him, that Anthony Blinken. The little daddy's boy.
Has Blinken been in the news lately?
Yeah. He just did an op-ed piece saying that Palestine should not be a separate state.
Well, he's rejecting the UN resolutions that created Israel and Palestine.
Yeah, a UN resolution. What were there, like 52 UN countries back in 1948?
Correct.
And what's the UN doing now to stop the slaughter? Nothing.
Well, they can't without the Security Council, and the United States vetoes anything in the Security Council that Netanyahu wants vetoed.
Yep. I call it the United Nothings, UN.
Well, there's 192 countries, according to Jeff Sachs. 6 side with the U.S. All the others believe that Palestine is an independent country.
Yeah.
6,
Again,
and you never heard of the other 5. Papua New Guinea and some of these other little things that are reliant on American largesse for their existence.
Yep. Now, Judge, it's sad, and the slaughter keeps going on. No outrage, and it breaks my heart to see what's going on. And everybody, if you want to see people, Judge, who's coming on your show this week?
Well, I have Colonel McGregor at 11 o'clock today, and then Max Blumenthal, and then Pepe Escobar. And I'm doing a live Judging Freedom from the Ron Paul gathering at which you and I have spoken. On the panel, we're doing the show live from there. Professor Sachs, Colonel McGregor, Max Blumenthal, and Mrs. Max Blumenthal, known professionally as Anya Parampil.
And when's that?
That is Saturday at 10:30 in the morning.
Okay, so everybody go to Judging Freedom. You got to see this. And it is, again, Ron Paul, by the way. Excuse me. He's the last person I voted for president, 2012.
Yes, same here.
Yep. Judge, thanks for being on. Thank you for all you do. And thank you for Judging Freedom.
Thank you. Thank you, Gerald. God love you. Talk to you soon.
Okay, pal.